Let's start with a typical planet like Earth. Anything that moves in orbit around a planet is called a satellite, and satellites can be either natural or artificial. Natural satellites, such as our moon, are those that are not made by humans and have formed through natural cosmic events. On the other hand, artificial satellites are man-made objects that have been launched into orbit by humans, and they include the satellites we use for various purposes such as communication, global positioning systems, weather monitoring, and scientific exploration, including telescopes that orbit outside our atmosphere to observe space. If we expand our view outward, we can now observe the entire solar system. Earth is just one among 8 planets that orbit around our central star, which is known as the Sun. You do not need to remember the order of the planets, but for reference, they are Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Each of these planets follows a path around the Sun that is not a perfect circle, but instead is slightly squashed into a shape called an ellipse. This means that their orbital paths are slightly elongated rather than being completely round. Apart from the planets, there are 2 other significant structures you should be familiar with, and those are asteroids and comets. While they are similar in some ways, there are important differences. Asteroids are primarily composed of rock and metal and are mainly located in an area between Mars and Jupiter, known as the asteroid belt. Comets, in contrast, are made up mostly of ice and dust and follow much more elongated elliptical orbits, often traveling great distances to the farthest reaches of the solar system before coming back toward the Sun. If we zoom out even more, we move from the solar system to the level of a galaxy. In our case, this would be the Milky Way galaxy. Galaxies are immense systems containing billions of stars, and most of these stars have their own solar systems, each with planets, moons, and other celestial bodies. For example, our solar system is just an incredibly tiny point located about halfway along one of the spiral arms of the Milky Way. The force responsible for holding all of the stars and a galaxy together is gravity, and this same gravitational force causes the stars to orbit around the central region of the galaxy, much like planets orbit the Sun. Zooming out one final time takes us to the scale of the universe, which is a vast, almost unimaginable expanse filled with galaxies. Just like galaxies are collections of stars, the universe is a collection of galaxies, yet despite being filled with these enormous systems, the majority of the universe is made up of empty space. The distances between neighboring galaxies are so enormous that they are difficult to comprehend with our everyday sense of scale. To summarize, the universe is a vast space largely consisting of empty voids with galaxies scattered throughout. Each galaxy is made up of billions of stars, many of which host their own solar systems, and within those solar systems are planets like Earth that can have satellites, both natural and artificial, orbiting them. So from the smallest structures to the largest, we have satellites orbiting planets, planets orbiting stars, stars forming galaxies, and galaxies making up the universe. That brings us to the end of this explanation, and I hope everything made sense and helped you build a clear mental image of how everything is structured in space. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon.